Major Emily Harrison rubbed her tired eyes, staring at the quantum-enhanced display that monitored deep space activity from her station at the Cheyenne Mountain Space Command. The coffee beside her had gone cold hours ago, but she couldn't pull herself away from the unusual signal patterns dancing across her screen. "Major, you seeing this?" Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice crackled through her headset. "The quantum fluctuations just spiked by 300%. "I see it," she replied, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. The readings made no sense. They defied every known law of physics her team had studied. "Get me General Morrison. Now." Before Rodriguez could respond, every screen in the command center flared brilliant red. Warning klaxons blared as satellites across the solar system registered massive energy signatures materializing near Pluto's orbit. Emily's heart raced as she initiated first contact protocols that, until now, had only existed in theoretical training scenarios. The main display illuminated with a sight that would forever change human history. 17 massive vessels, their hull configurations unlike anything ever conceived by human engineers. Their surfaces seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, creating an unsettling void against the star-filled background. Only their blood-red energy signatures, pulsing like malevolent heartbeats, revealed their true scale. Each ship was larger than anything humanity had ever constructed in space. "All stations, this is not a drill," Emily announced, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. "Initiating Protocol Omega-7. All orbital defense platforms to silent running. Quantum entanglement communications only." In the chaos that followed, only Emily noticed the subtle pattern hidden within the alien fleet's formation. Her years studying theoretical xenological warfare hadn't been wasted. "They're positioning for a standard military sweep," she muttered, pulling up historical naval battle formations, just like the British Navy used to do. Aboard the Krivak's command ship, Eternal Dominion, High Commander Zexthor reclined in his crystalline throne, his iridescent scales gleaming under the ship's bioluminescent lighting. His secondary eyes processed multiple data streams, while his primary pair focused on the holographic representation of Earth floating before him. Another primitive world, he chittered to his command staff. Their most advanced weapons are simple chemical rockets. Their communication systems still rely on electromagnetic radiation. His mandibles clicked in amusement. They haven't even achieved basic antimatter containment. His science officer, Valtech, raised a cautionary appendage. "Commander, there are some anomalies in their defense pattern. Their orbital satellites appear to be irrelevant." Zexthor interrupted. "Prepare the standard intimidation package. I want their major military installations identified and targeted within the next planetary rotation. Let them witness true power before we offer terms of surrender." Back at Cheyenne Mountain, Emily's quantum computers had already detected the alien fleet's scanning attempts. Thanks to decades of preparing for this exact scenario, Earth's most sensitive installations were shielded by technology that appeared primitive but masked cutting-edge quantum defenses. "They're making all the classic mistakes," Emily reported to the hastily assembled Joint Chiefs via quantum link. "Assuming technological superiority, dismissing our capabilities, positioning for shock and awe." A grim smile crossed her face. "They have no idea we've been preparing for this since Roswell." As the alien fleet began their advance toward Earth, Emily initiated the final preparations for humanity's response. Project Prometheus satellites silently charged their weapons, while quantum-encrypted signals activated dormant defense systems throughout the solar system. The aliens would soon learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their paranoid determination to prepare for every possible threat, no matter how unlikely it seemed. The Krivaks were about to learn why no one had ever successfully invaded Earth, not even their own kind. Colonel Jack Reynolds stood at the Pearl Harbor Command Center, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display showing the incoming Krivaks fleet. Decades of military service hadn't prepared him for this moment, but Project Prometheus had. "Status report on the quantum grid," he barked, watching as red dots representing alien ships entered Earth's outer defense perimeter. Lieutenant Sarah Cooper's fingers danced across her console. All nodes operational, sir. Quantum entanglement array is maintaining Ghost protocol. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. The Kryvax fleet's formation was perfect, too perfect. Their ships moved with the precision of machines, following textbook invasion patterns that humanity had wargamed thousands of times. Every simulation, every crazy conspiracy theorist's prediction, every science fiction movie had contributed to this moment. Aboard the Eternal Dominion, Zexthor watched with satisfaction as his fleet approached Earth's atmosphere. Begin the demonstration. Target their largest Pacific military installation. Maximum visual impact. Minimal casualties. For now. Commander, Valtech interrupted, mandibles twitching nervously. I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations in their orbital debris field. Debris cannot harm our shields, Zexthor dismissed. Execute the attack pattern. 3 Kryvax destroyers descended through the atmosphere, their stealth fields rendering them invisible to conventional radar. They emerged from the cloud cover over Pearl Harbor, charging weapons that had brought 12 civilizations to their knees. Colonel Reynolds allowed himself a slight smile. Activate Prometheus grid. Suddenly, the quantum satellite network came alive. Decades of reverse-engineered alien technology, combined with humanity's unique innovations, created something the Kryvax had never encountered. A defense system that didn't just see through their stealth technology. It turned it against them. The alien ships became trapped in a quantum feedback loop. Their own stealth fields transformed into perfect targeting beacons for Earth's defense systems. What's happening? Zexthor demanded as warning signals blazed across his command deck. How are they tracking us? The sky over Pearl Harbor lit up with a devastating display of humanity's hidden capabilities. Hypersonic missiles, their warheads enhanced with quantum-entangled payload systems, streaked toward the Kryvax ships. The aliens' energy shields, calibrated to stop conventional weapons, prove useless against weapons specifically designed to bypass their frequencies. Multiple direct hits, Cooper announced, her voice tight with controlled excitement. 2 enemy vessels critically damaged. The third is attempting to retreat. Reynolds watched as the first Kryvax ship split apart, its mighty hull shattered by weapons it never saw coming. The second spun out of control, secondary explosions rippling along its length before it crashed into the Pacific, far from civilian populations. The third barely managed to limp back into orbit, trailing plasma and debris. Impossible. Zexthor raged, his crystalline throne cracking under his grip. Their technology is primitive. Their weapons are centuries behind ours. Sir, Valtech's voice trembled. They're not using our technology. They're using something else. Something we've never seen before. The humans. They've been preparing for us. Specifically for us. Throughout the command center, Reynolds' team worked with practiced precision. This wasn't just a victory of technology. It was a triumph of human paranoia, creativity, and determination. Message from Major Harrison at Cheyenne Mountain, Cooper reported. Other Kryvax vessels are pulling back to high orbit. They're regrouping. Reynolds nodded grimly. Send word to all commands. Operation Thunderstrike is go. Time to show these pirates what happens when you underestimate Earth. As emergency beacons from the downed Kryvax ships pierced the Pacific night, humanity's real capabilities began to emerge from decades of secrecy. Hidden bases across the globe activated. Underground hangars opened to reveal aircraft that defied conventional physics. And in orbit, thousands of seemingly innocent satellites revealed their true nature. The Kryvax had made a crucial mistake. They'd assumed that a civilization without FTL travel would be defenseless. They hadn't considered that a species that spent centuries imagining alien invasions would be more than ready when one finally came. The opening salvo had been fired, and Earth had just announced its presence to the galaxy in a way no one would soon forget. Lieutenant Amanda Foster hadn't slept in 36 hours, But the stream of alien data flooding her screens at the NSA's Quantum Computing Center kept her wide awake. Her team had been preparing for this moment since they'd discovered the first encrypted alien transmission hidden in background radiation a decade ago. Running decryption algorithm version 847, she announced, her fingers flying across 3 different holographic interfaces, cross-referencing with the captured ship's communication array. The quantum computer banks hummed around her, their carbon crystal matrices processing data at speeds that would have seemed impossible just 5 years ago. On her main screen, alien symbols danced and shifted, gradually transforming into recognizable patterns. "Got you," she whispered, a fierce grin spreading across her face. "Dr. Thompson, I've identified their command protocols." Across the room, retired Marine Colonel David Martinez looked up from his own workstation. His team of civilian hackers, former game designers and competitive esports champions, had been chosen specifically for their ability to think outside conventional military doctrine. "Show me," he ordered, moving to her station. "How did you crack it?" Amanda highlighted several recurring patterns in the alien code. "They're using a quantum-based encryption, but it's rigid, predictable, like they've never had to change it because no one's ever broken it before." Martinez smiled grimly. "They've never met human hackers before. Jackson, Wong, feed this into our game theory simulators. I want to know every possible response pattern their combat AI might generate." In orbit, the remaining Kryvax fleet regrouped, their formation now more cautious. High Commander Zexthor had abandoned his crystalline throne for the ship's war room, his scales dulled with stress. "Impossible," he muttered, reviewing the battle footage again. "Their weapons shouldn't exist. Their technology is an aberration." "Commander," Valtech reported, "we're detecting unusual attempts to access our battle networks. Their methods are chaotic, unpredictable. Our AI cannot establish stable defense patterns." Before Zexthor could respond, the main display flickered. Alien warning symbols flashed across every screen as Earth's first cyber counterattack sliced through their quantum firewalls. Back at the NSA facility, Amanda watched her code work its magic. Their entire command and control network is based on quantum entanglement principles, she explained to Martinez. But they never considered someone might hack it using classical computing methods combined with quantum algorithms. It's like they've only ever fought enemies who think exactly like they do. Martinez nodded, watching as his gaming team's attack patterns wreak havoc on the alien fleet's coordination. "They've got better technology, but we've got better imagination. How long until we have full access to their tactical network?" 3 hours, maybe less. Their combat AI is already adapting, but, Amanda grinned, Jackson's team is feeding it conflicting data from every alien invasion movie ever made. It's trying to defend against Independence Day tactics while simultaneously calculating responses to War of the Worlds scenarios. In space, the Kryvax fleet's perfect formation began to break down. Ships responded to phantom threats, their automated defense systems confused by contradictory data. Combat AIs that had served faithfully for centuries started generating errors as they encountered human unpredictability. "Shut down the network," Zexthor commanded, his secondary eyes wide with panic. "Revert to manual control." "Too late," Valtech whispered, watching as ship after ship lost coordination with the fleet. "They're inside our systems. They're using our own battle simulations against us. But they're adding variables we never considered, tactics that defy logic." The humans had discovered something the Kryvax had never considered. Their technological superiority had led to complacency. Their perfect systems had never been challenged by the creative chaos of human thinking. As Amanda's team continued their cyber assault, Martinez received a priority message from Colonel Reynolds. "Operation Thunderstrike is accelerating. Keep them confused for 2 more hours. We're about to show them why humans spend so much time thinking about impossible scenarios." The real battle was just beginning. And humanity's greatest weapons weren't their guns or ships. but their minds. Captain Michael Mad Dog Turner crouched in the Montana mud, his adaptive camouflage suit blending perfectly with the underbrush. Around him, his Special Forces team lay in wait, their positions chosen with centuries of guerrilla warfare experience in mind. Above, the massive form of a Kryvax dropship descended toward the apparent vulnerability of the Malmstrom missile fields. "Poor bastards," Turner whispered into his quantum comm. "They actually think we'd leave nuclear silos defenseless." "Ready on your go, Captain." Sergeant Lisa Ghost Rivera responded from her position 2 kilometers east. Her team had spent 3 days setting up this killbox, using everything from cutting-edge quantum tech to old-school punji pits filled with graphene-enhanced mud, specifically designed to short out Kryvax energy shields. The alien dropship landed with mechanical precision, its boarding ramps deploying in a standard textbook invasion pattern. Kryvax shock troops emerged in perfect formation, their energy shields gleaming in the dawn light. Turner allowed himself a small smile. Time to teach them about the human way of war. Execute Operation Dirty Fighting. The first alien warrior took 3 steps before disappearing into a carefully concealed pit. Its energy shields, calibrated for plasma weapons and high-energy attacks, did nothing against the simple physics of gravity and specially treated mud that immediately began corroding its systems. Contact front. The alien commanders shrieked in their clicking language, which humanity's quantum computers were now translating in real time. Defensive formation Sigma 3. "They're bunching up," Rivera reported with satisfaction, just like the manual said they would. Turner keyed his comm. "All units, commence Operation Home Alone." What followed was a masterclass in asymmetric warfare. The aliens, used to fighting organized military units with predictable tactics, found themselves facing an enemy that had turned the entire battlefield into a death trap. Decades of studying their potential weaknesses had paid off. Simple water balloons filled with conductive fluid shorted out energy shields. Tripwires triggered not explosives, but old-fashioned nets weighted with quantum resonance materials that disrupted their sophisticated targeting systems. Every primitive trap was enhanced with just enough advanced tech to make it lethal to overconfident aliens. "This is impossible." The Kryvax commander broadcast. "They're savages, using prehistoric tactics." "Prehistoric this," Turner muttered, triggering the next phase. Hidden speakers began broadcasting frequencies that their research suggested would be particularly uncomfortable for Kryvax neural systems, taken directly from human heavy metal music. The alien formation began to break down. Their rigid training, designed for conventional warfare, proved useless against humans fighting dirty. Every time they adapted to one type of attack, 3 more completely different ones would hit them from unexpected angles. From her sniper's nest, Rivera picked off aliens with specially designed rounds that looked like simple brass and lead to sensors but contained quantum-entangled cores that bypassed shields completely. "These guys never watched Predator, did they, Captain?" "Their loss," Turner replied, watching as more aliens fell to what they probably considered insultingly primitive weapons. All those movies about beating superior alien forces weren't just entertainment. They were preparation. The Kryvax commander, desperately trying to maintain order, never saw the simple steel cable that wrapped around his legs, a cable connected to an electromagnetic winch that drew him into a prepared pit filled with quick-hardening smart foam. "Sir," Rivera reported, "alien forces are at 40% strength and falling. They're starting to retreat to their dropship." Turner nodded grimly. Spring the last surprise. As the surviving aliens rushed back to their vessel, they discovered that humans had learned something else from centuries of war: the art of stealing enemy equipment. Their dropship's quantum drive was already gone, removed by a team of engineers during the chaos of the ground battle. "Message from command," Rivera announced. Similar attacks were just repelled at 6 other locations globally. The Kryvax never managed to establish a single secure landing zone. Turner stood, brushing mud from his camouflage suit. "Looks like someone should have told them. You don't start a ground war with humans. We've had way too much practice. Above them, the remaining Kryvax ships began breaking orbit, finally learning what so many others had discovered throughout history. Technological superiority means nothing against an enemy who spent their entire existence learning to fight dirty. NASA engineer Kevin O'Brien stood in his daughter Emma's high school gymnasium, staring at her science fair project with growing amazement. While the rest of the world focused on the alien invasion, his 15-year-old daughter might have just cracked the key to defeating the Kryvax completely. "See, Dad." Emma pointed to her quantum entanglement demonstrator, built from modified gaming console parts. Their ships use a binary quantum state for shield harmonics, but what if we forced a tertiary state? Like a quantum rock-paper-scissors. Beside them, Air Force test pilot Jessica Maverick Ramirez whistled low. From the mouths of babes. "We've been approaching this all wrong. Trying to break their shields when we should be making them malfunction." Kevin's fingers flew across his tablet, running simulations. "Emma, honey, you're a genius. Their entire defensive system is based on the assumption that quantum states have to be binary. But your science project proves that we can create a third state." Emma beamed. "I just wanted to win first place, but maybe we can save the world instead." Meanwhile, aboard the Eternal Dominion, Zexthor was facing his own revelation. His intelligence officers had been analyzing Earth's information networks, trying to understand how humans had anticipated so many of their tactics. "Show me again," he commanded, his scales pale with disbelief. The main screen displayed a stream of Earth entertainment. Independence Day, War of the Worlds, Battlestar Galactica, Ender's Game, countless movies, shows, games, and books about alien invasions. Centuries of humans imagining every possible way aliens might attack and how to defeat them. "They'd been preparing for us," Valtech whispered, "before they even knew we existed. Every possible strategy, every tactic we've tried. They've already imagined it and created countermeasures. Not just their military, but their entire culture." At Edwards Air Force Base, Jessica Ramirez trapped herself into the cockpit of a modified F-52 Wraith fighter. The quantum core from the captured Kryvax dropship had been integrated with Emma's revolutionary shield modification design. Kevin's voice crackled through her headset. "Remember, Maverick, the tertiary quantum state is unstable. You'll have about 30 seconds once you engage it." "Copy that," she grinned, powering up the hybrid engines. "Time to show these aliens why you don't mess with a species that grew up on Star Wars." The F-52 screamed into the stratosphere, its human-alien hybrid technology performing better than either species' pure designs. Ramirez approached a Kryvax patrol ship, broadcasting on all frequencies. "Attention alien vessel," she transmitted. "Let's see how you handle this little trick." She engaged Emma's quantum modification. The patrol ship's shields, encountering an impossible tertiary quantum state, went into cascade failure. The aliens, their entire defensive doctrine built around binary quantum physics, had no defense against a teenager's science fair project. Back in the high school gym, Emma watched the live feed with her father. Did we just change physics?" Kevin hugged her tight. "No, honey. You just proved that human creativity beats alien certainty every time." Across Earth's information networks, a new message began spreading. The invincible Kryvax weren't so invincible after all. Their supposedly superior technology had been outthought by a high school student. The psychological impact was devastating, not just on the aliens, but on Earth's entire understanding of the galaxy. "Send this data to every Earth Defense Force," Ramirez called as she landed. "And somebody give that kid a full scholarship to MIT." In his command chair, Zexthor watched another tactical display go dark as human fighters equipped with the new quantum modification approach. His mighty fleet, terror of 12 star systems, was being undone by a species that had turned their own imagination into a weapon. Perhaps, Valtech suggested quietly, we should have watched some of their movies first. The tide wasn't just turning, it had become a tsunami. Humanity had proved that their greatest weapon wasn't technology or military might, but their unlimited capacity to imagine, create, and innovate. Even a child's science project could change the course of an interstellar war. And the Kryvacs were about to learn just how many other surprises Earth's primitive civilization had waiting for them. General Sarah Blackwood stood in the hidden command center beneath Mount Cheyenne, watching as centuries of secret preparation came to fruition. Around her, massive holographic displays showed hundreds of underground hangar doors opening across the globe, facilities that even most world leaders hadn't known existed. "Status report on the Ghost Fleet," she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's counteroffensive. Commander James "Phoenix" Rodriguez responded from his position aboard the CSS Humanity's Pride, Earth's first true starship. "All vessels reporting ready, General. Hybrid drives are operating at 115% efficiency. Turns out Emma's quantum modification works even better on our engines than we expected." The Ghost Fleet was humanity's ultimate secret, 60 warships built in underground facilities over decades, combining reversed engineered alien tech with human innovation. Each vessel represented a different theory about space combat, designed to counter every type of alien ship humanity had ever imagined. "Begin Operation Thunderstrike," Blackwood ordered. "Show them why you don't corner a species that spent centuries preparing for this exact moment." Across Earth, massive doors opened in mountainsides, desert floors, and ocean depths. The Ghost Fleet emerged from hiding, their hybrid hulls gleaming with technology that was neither purely human nor alien, but something entirely new. Aboard the Eternal Dominion, Zexthor's command staff froze in disbelief as their sensors registered the impossible. "How?" Valtek stammered, his mandibles clicking rapidly. "Their energy signatures. They're using our own quantum drive designs, but they've modified them in ways our engineers claimed were impossible. All ships, battle formations," Zexthor commanded, but the fear in his voice was evident. "They can't possibly have the experience to." He never finished the sentence. The Ghost Fleet attacked with maneuvers pulled from every space combat scenario humanity had ever conceived. Ships performed tactics from Battlestar Galactica, executing Adama maneuvers with real physics. Others demonstrated techniques theorized by military science fiction authors, but never tried in real combat. "Crazy bastards," a Kryvax commander screamed as the CSS Heinlein executed a slingshot around Mars that their computers claimed was suicide. "They're not following any known combat doctrine." "That's because we wrote our own," Rodriguez transmitted back. "You really should have checked our entertainment archives more carefully." The battle for Earth's orbit became a demonstration of why imagination coupled with determination could overcome even the most advanced technology. Human ships, smaller but more agile, danced through the Kryvax formation. Emma's quantum modification let them slip through alien shields like they weren't even there. "Status report," Blackwood demanded as the first wave of combat ended. 8 Kryvax capital ships disabled, Rodriguez reported, his voice tight with controlled excitement. 3 more retreating. "Their formation is broken. And ma'am, we haven't lost a single ship. Emma's modifications are holding perfectly." In the asteroid belt, the second phase of Thunderstrike began. Hidden automated factories, buried in asteroids decades ago, came online. Thousands of drone fighters emerged, their hybrid AI systems combining human unpredictability with alien processing power. "By the eternal void," Valtek whispered as his sensors registered the new threat. "They've militarized their entire solar system. Everything we dismissed as primitive or debris. It was all prepared for this." Zexthor watched his mighty fleet, terror of 12 star systems, being systematically taken apart by a species his intelligence officers had dismissed as barely spacefaring. Every human ship demonstrated capabilities that shouldn't exist, using tactics that defied conventional logic, but worked perfectly. "Signal the retreat," he finally ordered, his pride shattered. We cannot defeat an enemy who has spent their entire existence preparing for this battle." As the remaining Kryvax ships fled, General Blackwood allowed herself a small smile. "Commander Rodriguez, prepare the fleet for pursuit. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity isn't just capable of defending itself. We're ready to take our place among the stars." The Ghost Fleet formed up, their hybrid drives glowing with impossible energies. Humanity had not just survived first contact, they had turned it into their debut on the galactic stage. And they had done it in true human fashion, by spending centuries preparing for every possible scenario, no matter how unlikely it seemed. The stars were calling, and Earth was finally ready to answer. Dr. Robert Hayes stood in the depths of Cheyenne Mountain, surrounded by banks of quantum computers processing the treasure trove of data captured from the retreating Kryvax fleet. His eyes widened as patterns emerged from the chaos. "General Blackwood," he called out, his hands trembling slightly. "You need to see this immediately." The general strode over, followed by Major Harrison. The holographic display showed a complex web of interconnected alien technological systems, but with a startling revelation at its core. "It's all predictable," Hayes explained, highlighting key nodes in the network. Their entire civilization's advancement followed a single technological path. They never deviated, never explored alternatives. It's why they couldn't comprehend our hybrid solutions. Harrison leaned closer. "You're saying their supposed superiority is actually their greatest weakness," Hayes finished. "They'd been doing things the same way for so long, they'd forgotten how to innovate. Their technology isn't actually superior. It's just more refined along a single path." Aboard the CSS Humanity's Pride, now pursuing the Kryvax through the outer solar system, Commander Rodriguez received the analysis with a predatory smile. "Lieutenant Cooper, push this data to all Ghost Fleet vessels. Update targeting algorithms accordingly." The human fleet moved with newfound confidence. Every ship now carried Emma's quantum modification, but Hayes' revelation had added another layer to their advantage. They could predict Kryvax responses with almost perfect accuracy. On the Eternal Dominion, panic was setting in. Zexthor watched as his remaining ships tried desperately to maintain formation, while the humans seemed to anticipate their every move. "Impossible," he raged as another capital ship fell to precisely targeted human attacks. "How are they inside our command networks? We purged their cyber intrusions." Valtech, monitoring the battle analysis, felt his worldview crumbling. "Sir, they're not in our networks. They've simply figured us out. Our tactics, our technology, our thought processes, they're all following patterns we've used for centuries." "And the humans? The humans what?" Zexthor demanded. "They don't follow patterns," Valtech whispered. "Every solution they deploy is unique. They're not just fighting us. They're innovating in real time." Back in Cheyenne Mountain, Hayes continued his analysis as battle data streamed in. "Look at their weapon systems, based entirely on binary quantum states. Their shields, binary. Their targeting, binary. They never considered alternative approaches because their first solutions worked well enough. While we," Blackwood smiled grimly, "spent centuries coming up with every possible alternative because we didn't have their technology. Our primitive state forced us to be creative." The quantum computers churned out prediction after prediction, each one proving devastatingly accurate. The Ghost Fleet used this information to devastating effect, striking at weaknesses the Kryvax never knew they had because they'd never thought to look for them. "Message from the Kryvax flagship," Harrison reported suddenly. They're requesting parley." On the main screen, Zexthor appeared, his once proud bearing now haunted. "How?" he demanded simply. "You were supposed to be primitive. Easy prey like all the others." Blackwood stepped forward. "That was your first mistake. Humanity has never been prey. We've spent our entire history preparing for predators like you, real and imagined. Every story we told, every movie we made, Every game we played was preparation for this moment. You don't understand. Zexthor clicked frantically. The galaxy has rules, patterns, established ways off. The galaxy had rules, Blackwood corrected. Until it met humanity. Stand down your remaining forces, Commander. It's time for some new rules. As the Kryvax fleet surrendered, the quantum computers compiled their final analysis. Humanity had achieved in days what most species took centuries to accomplish. Not because they were superior, but because they had never stopped imagining possibilities. Hayes watched the surrender proceedings with quiet satisfaction. You know what really won this war? He asked Harrison. Not our weapons or tactics, but our stories. Every time we imagined meeting aliens, we got a little more prepared. While they were perfecting their technology, we were perfecting our imagination. The galaxy would never be the same. The species that had spent its history preparing for the impossible had just proven that nothing was truly impossible if you had enough imagination to see beyond the established rules. Colonel Jack Reynolds stood on the bridge of the CSS Prometheus, Earth's newest flagship, watching as the final preparations for humanity's first diplomatic mission were completed. Beside him, Major Emily Harrison reviewed the data streams from the quantum detection grid they'd established throughout the solar system. Hard to believe it's only been 3 months since first contact, she mused, adjusting the holographic display. From defending Earth to launching our first interstellar expedition. Reynolds smiled, remembering the chaos of those first battles. Amazing what humanity can accomplish when we stop hiding our capabilities. Status report on the fleet. Ghost Fleet elements report ready, Harrison responded. The Kryvax ships we acquired have been fully upgraded with Emma's quantum modifications. Young Miss O'Brien's scholarship to MIT is definitely well-deserved. Around them, Earth's combined space forces prepared for departure. The fleet was a testament to human adaptability. Captured Kryvax vessels flew alongside human-designed ships. Their technologies blended into something entirely new. Each vessel represented a different approach to space combat, ensuring that future enemies would never be able to predict human tactics. In orbit above Earth, the diplomatic delegation prepared to board. Representatives from every nation stood ready to present humanity's united face to the galaxy. Among them was Dr. Robert Hayes, whose analysis of Kryvax technology had changed the balance of power. Latest intelligence from our new friends? Reynolds asked, gesturing to the small contingent of Kryvax technical advisors who had chosen to defect after the battle. Harrison brought up their report. 12 star systems are already requesting diplomatic contact. Turns out we weren't the only ones tired of Kryvax raids. Their entire empire was built on technological intimidation. Once we proved their technology wasn't insurmountable, the galaxy took notice. Reynolds finished. And now they all want to know how the primitive humans did it. On the main screen, a transmission from Cheyenne Mountain appeared. General Blackwood's expression was stern but proud. Colonel Reynolds, you have authorization to proceed with Operation First Step. Show the galaxy that humanity comes in peace, but never mistakenly assume that means we come weak. Understood, General. Reynolds turned to his crew. All ships, prepare for FTL transition. Let's show them what humanity can do when we're not just reacting to a threat. The fleet's hybrid drives hummed to life, their energy signatures a unique blend of human innovation and alien technology. As they prepared to depart, Harrison's console lit up with incoming transmissions. Sir, she reported, trying to hide her amusement, we're receiving messages from 17 different alien species. They're all requesting our entertainment archives. Reynolds laughed. Send them everything. Every movie, every book, every game. Let them see exactly how humanity spent centuries preparing for this moment. The fleet aligned for their first jump into interstellar space. Earth below them glowed with renewed purpose. The secret facilities that had housed the Ghost Fleet were being converted into public shipyards. Universities worldwide had begun incorporating captured Kryvax technology into their curricula, while human innovations like Emma's quantum modification were already pushing the boundaries of what alien scientists had thought possible. Last transmission from Earth Command, Harrison announced. They're requesting we name this mission for the historical record. Reynolds looked out at the assembled fleet. Human ingenuity and determination made manifest among the stars. Tell them to log this as Operation New Chapter. The galaxy thought they were getting primitive newcomers. Instead, they're getting a species that turned paranoia into preparation and imagination into innovation. The Dryades engaged, and humanity took its first official step into the galactic community. They carried with them not just weapons and shields, but centuries of stories, dreams, and preparations. Every science fiction author who'd imagined first contact, every scientist who'd prepared for the impossible, every child who'd looked up at the stars and wondered what if. They had all contributed to this moment. The age of Kryvax dominance was over. The Terran age was about to begin, and humanity was bringing all of their impossible ideas with them. After all, impossible was what humans did best.